Today on Dr. Phil.
My fiance's mother hates me with a passion.
Two women
You're insane.
Do y'all plan to have children?
No, I don't want the crazy gene to be passed on.
fighting over the same man.
The private investigator found out some disturbing things.
You have nothing on me, lady.
that's-
There were charges, but never convictions. Ever.
She talks about being a Marine constantly.
How long did you serve in the Marines?
I did not finish boot camp.
So you were sort of a Marine for a while.
Correct.
He had a fiance once that died.
That's not funny.
She can't get her dadgum story straight.
Can you? This isn't your first marriage.
This will be my fifth.
If you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 failed marriages, there should be red flags flying all over the place. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free, take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. How you doing? Hallelujah. Well, I am about to talk to two women who are fighting over the same man. Now, I'm going to reserve this chair in the middle for him. But first, I want to talk to the two women in this saga before he ever even comes out here. Now, here's the deal. Christian is going to marry one of these women. And let's just say the other is not too happy about it. Here's why.
Christian and I are going to get married, but my fiance's mother hates me with a passion. She has definitely tried to destroy my relationship and ruin my wedding.
My mom has never liked Beth, even since the beginning of our relationship.
Beth smokes, cusses, very loud, and doesn't respect me at all.
My fiance's mother has never said anything nice. It's always been malicious, underhanded, conniving, mean. Every chance Carol gets, she berates me.
My mom has criticized my fiance's looks, education, cooking, anything you can think of.
Christian's mother said she didn't know why Christian would ever be with me since I was so daggum ugly. Christian deserved a Playboy bunny. And I asked her, so I guess my breasts are too small also. And she said, yeah. I was so freaking shocked.
I have never called Beth ugly.
Christian's mother hasn't been calling before she comes over, so we don't let her in.
I haven't been inside in a long time. I usually don't even get this far.
I have threatened to call the police on my mom. My mom does not like the fact that Beth has been married 4 times before.
I think that's a red flag right there. If her marriages haven't worked 4 times, why would Christian think that it would work when he's the 5th husband?
If Carol would have asked me, I don't think that she would think anything was wrong because everything was 100% justifiable as to why I divorced them.
I asked Christian, how many people do you know that have been married 5 times? And he said, Elizabeth Taylor.
We were going to have this huge wedding at the house and decided against it. I am definitely not going to risk having her cause a scene at my wedding, so therefore, there's no wedding. Thanks, Carol.
Carol says she does not want her son Christian to marry Beth and even went as far as hiring a private investigator to check her out.
Carol hired a private investigator to figure out who in the Sam Hill I was.
I hired a private investigator because I had doubts about some of the things that Beth was saying.
She checked into my background, and she found absolutely nothing.
The private investigator found out some disturbing things. She was charged with a 3rd-degree felony for child neglect, 2 times forcible entry, 4 criminal conversions. She's lived in 30 addresses in 20 years. Everything that I found out says Christian should not marry Beth.
She called up Christian, lied to him. When I heard this, I just laughed my butt off.
Nothing that the private investigator said changed my mind about Beth. That was what my mom was hoping would happen, but it didn't.
Carol not only hired a private investigator to spy into my background, she also checked out my mother. You can mess with me, don't mess with my mama.
I found this to be extremely disrespectful.
That was probably the most outrageous thing I've ever seen another human being do to another human being.
Protecting my son is very important, and I don't want to see him get taken advantage of.
Found out about the PI. I thought, okay, There is something seriously wrong with this lady.
So why did you hire a PI to investigate your future daughter-in-law?
Because there were some things that didn't make sense.
Right? And did you know that they would find out about it? Did you care?
I actually told Christian not to tell her what
Oh,
I
you
found
told
out.
him?
Yes.
You said, I hired a PI and I found some stuff out you need to know. Okay, and were you shocked?
I laughed my butt off. I was totally floored. You know, supposedly
Why
she's
would
been...
you laugh about that? I don't see anything funny about that at all.
I found it absolutely 100% ridiculous. Supposedly she spent $450 to check me out.
But why
Well,
did you
I never
laugh
told
about it?
him
You
what
said
I
I
spent.
laughed my butt off. That just seems like me thinks you protest too much. I don't get it.
It was more shock. I think it was more shock than anything. I was terribly hurt. And I think it was just like a reflex.
Yeah. And you said she spent $450 and found out absolutely nothing.
Correct. There were charges, but never convictions. And all you had to do was ask me, and I would have clearly told you anything.
Well, what did you find out? Do you think you found out nothing?
No.
You think you found out something?
I think I found out more than I even thought I would.
What'd you find out?
Okay, I found out.
You have notes?
Yes.
So you must have found out a lot. Is this what they mean when they
Right,
say you got a
right.
sheet on this person? I hear that on
Right.
all these cop shows. You got a real sheet on her.
Right.
So you actually do have a sheet on her.
Yes, I do.
Okay, what'd you find out?
And this is since she was age 18. Okay. In 1993, there was bankruptcy. In 1998, there was a civil judgment where she had to pay $3,665. And a civil judgment is some kind of money that you've owed for something.
Yeah, I know what it is. What'd you find
Okay,
out?
because I didn't know.
Well, I haven't heard
what
anything
civil
so far
judgment-
that would warrant
Okay,
you being concerned.
1999, there was a criminal conversion, which is a theft, some kind of a theft. Also in 1999, there was a third-degree felony for child neglect. And there was cruelty to a child, but that part was dropped. But the child neglect was a third-degree felony,
It was all dropped.
which is serious,
Okay.
pretty serious. 2004, there was a forcible entry. Also in 2004, there was another civil judgment where she had to pay $511. The next year, in 2005, there was another forcible entry. In 2007, it was driving on an expired license.
Okay, so you had a couple
And
of
in
traffics
well,
in
there's
seven.
one more. 2008, driving while suspended.
Okay, so the things that concern you, I assume, are the criminal charges. Had you shared all this with Christian?
Oh, absolutely. He knew everything. He knew everything. And half of that's not even anywhere on me. If you're going to pay a private investigator, you get proof in the pudding. What do? Call you up and say, oh, this is what I found out? My understanding is you had to pay an extra $50 in order to get actual hardcore evidence. You have nothing on me,
No,
lady.
that's not it.
Okay,
You get a
wait,
written-
hold on. What do you mean she has nothing on you? These were charges that were in fact filed, but there were no convictions, correct?
Correct.
But
There
the
were no-
charges were filed.
Not on some of them. For instance, like the criminal conversion, the breaking.
Well, no,
entering.
that's in a public record somewhere.
Oh, apparently it wasn't under my name. I don't know where she's getting this from. Either which way, I've never been convicted of anything. Ever.
Well, did you forcibly enter two places and get charged
No.
for it?
No.
That's mistaken
That was
identity?
completely mistaken.
So that's not you.
Absolutely, 100% mistaken,
Not was
sir.
it a misunderstanding, was it you or did they get the wrong person?
Not for two of them.
But it did happen.
On one of them, but not two, sir.
Okay, on the other one, was it another person?
I have no idea.
Okay. And did you, in fact, have charges against you for child neglect?
Yes, I did. And that was dropped.
for cruelty to a child?
No. Now, she says it's under cruelty. It was just child neglect.
Well,
Either which, make a long story short, if you would ask me these questions, I had
I'm
a babysitter.
asking you now.
I had a babysitter at the time, and when I came home from my job interview, my daughter had wandered off. I got charged with child neglect because in the state of Florida, the parent is 100% responsible.
Right.
So I got charged with it, and I was not convicted.
and you've told Christian about all of this.
Christian knows everything.
Okay.
Everything.
All right. Is So you had children before. This isn't your first marriage?
Correct.
To Christian. This will be what?
This will be my 5th.
Does that give you cause for concern?
Yes, because I
lot?
wondered why would the 5th one last, and I don't think it will with you.
Is it any of your business, really?
And he's never been married.
Right. And he's how old?
35.
And he lived with you until he was 30, right?
Yes. It's not that I don't want him married at all. I'd love to see him married, but I don't think you're the one for him.
I'm curious, do you think it is totally irrational for a mother of a 35-year-old son? How many kids do you have?
He's the only child.
Yeah.
And so am I. I'm an only child.
Okay, so you have an only child of an only child that lived with her till he was 30.
I know.
He was a virgin till he was 28,
Yes.
according to him, right? Did you verify that?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's not the kind of thing that your son tells.
So you
the
do
mother.
have some boundaries that you won't cross. You didn't. You weren't there for that momentous. Okay.
Sir.
But do you get the fact that a mother of an only son that lived with her till 30 all of a sudden is marrying a woman with a criminal sheet here and not one, not two, not three, but 4 failed marriages would go, excuse me, son, you might want to take some pause here and double check this.
Right.
I mean, do you think that's a reasonable concern for her?
I think she should have brought it up a completely different way. Hiring a private investigator, I could have told her anything.
Do you think that's a reasonable concern for her?
Sure, I'll give her that.
Yeah, well, thank you, because it is a very reasonable concern. The best predictor of future behavior is past behavior.
Correct.
And if you've had 1, 2, 3, 4 failed marriages, there should be red flags flying all over the place here.
Okay.
The likelihood of the 5th working statistically is very low. At this point, you two have gotten very combative. You don't want to, do you come over too much?
I don't come over at all.
Not anymore.
They won't let me in the house.
You won't call before you come over.
I think
Boy, I
she's...
got to tell you, if looks could kill, we'd be dragging you out of here right now.
She doesn't call. All we've asked is please call before you come over.
And it's his house. It's not your house.
I live there with him.
But she's very controlling.
What are we controlling?
And she's really rushed through the whole thing.
Right.
He
But,
met her in October.
No,
at
we
a
started dating
yard
in
sale.
September.
but there's no
and-
theory under which you would ever approve her,
No,
right?
No.
Nothing.
No, I mean, you wouldn't care if it's 10 years.
Right.
You wouldn't approve of her no matter what. And there's nothing she can do that's going to make you happy.
That's right.
Because you think she is bad to the core. Right?
I have some more information. 30 addresses in 20 years. That tells me she
Flighty.
jumps around a lot, yeah, and she has no property, although she lied about that. She originally said she had 3 rental properties. Then she must have forgot she said 3, and she said, I've got 9. Then she said, my mother makes an 8-figure salary.
6.
And you said 8.
Why don't you
and
get your
I don't
story
mean
straight?
decimal points, just like that, about her mother.
She can't get her dadgum story straight.
Well, can you?
Yeah. I did say my mother make well into the 6 figures a year. This
you
was
said
when
8 because I thought that has to be at least
Oh.
10 million.
Dude,
That's exactly what you said.
you're insane.
And she talks about being a Marine constantly, although there's no evidence that she was ever a Marine. And with a record like this, how could she be one?
Were you a Marine?
Yes, sir. Yes,
You-
sir.
you were in the Marine
I signed
Corps?
into MEPS in Columbus, Ohio. Yes. And I
When
could
did
also
you
bring
have
my
time?
DD-214.
How
With
long
all
did
this.
you? How long did you serve in the Marines?
I did not finish boot camp.
Oh,
So you were sort of a Marine for a while.
Correct. Sort of.
Okay.
but
I
every
would've-
time
I
I've
would've
ever
ended up being
talked
a-
to her, you say probably 4 or 5 times that you're a Marine.
Once again, she's totally blowing everything 100%, no ifs, ands, buts out of proportion. Blatant lies. I wonder
And
about
you have no property, Although you've said you have rental
I
properties.
have owned rental properties. Lady, you keep on misconstruing everything
The car
that I
that
say.
you're
How are you
driving
feeling,
is
by
not
the way?
yours.
Excuse me, it is. I have my divorce decree.
No, it is not registered.
How are you
in your
feeling, by the
name.
way?
Very hostile, sir.
All right, next, find out what Carol told Beth to try to get rid of her for good. Did you tell her that he had a fiance that died? All right, I asked you before the break how you were feeling. I understand that you have stomach cancer,
Yes, sir.
right? And
That was another lovely thing she said when Christian called her up to say, hey, Beth, hey, we have good news. She ended up with what? Beth's dying from cancer?
No,
That is
that's
not
not how
nice.
it was.
so do you have stomach cancer?
Yes, sir. My last treatments are in September.
Is it peritoneal? Is it, what type of stomach cancer do you have?
There was a tumor. So, Christian knows everything about it. I have paperwork galore
He
on
doesn't
it.
know at all about it.
So you have
You know
stomach...
what?
you're-
I don't trust
Do
you
you know
with the...
he's...
So you do have stomach... I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I hope that's going well for you. What stage are you in?
It's one. In fact, my last, not if any. I go in next week. Well, no, it's this Thursday. I go in next week and do the rest of my blood work and the whole works and see where I'm at. But it looks as if September is going to be my last deal.
So you're doing chemo now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You seem to be tolerating it well.
Yes, sir. Well, except for the vomiting, and that's why I'm not
And the
working. I
kickboxing.
vomit.
Is this...
You're doing kickboxing, whatever that is.
Is this... well, I just want to know, because she's concerned about this, and I'm sure he is.
I don't care what she's concerned
Is
about.
this a peritoneal cancer? Is it metastasized?
It's metastasized.
Okay, to where?
I at first, well, right now we're operating on 25% of my liver. So I'm having some liver issues as well.
Okay, the cancer has metastasized to other organs in the
My
abdominal
liver,
cavity.
I have 25% of my liver
So
usage
you
right
now
now.
you have liver cancer?
No. And as far as I know, I don't.
Well, if it's metastasized,
If it-
you do.
Oh, I've only have 25% of my liver now. Don't ask me.
Well, I am
go in,
asking you.
I go in, I get my shot, and I hightail it out. In fact, I didn't even bring this up for months into my own family. You know, I don't trust you with the truth, much less anything. So we don't tell you anything. I could have brought the documentation. I can fax it to you.
Well, we asked you for it, and you said you wouldn't give it to us.
No, I said I didn't trust her with the truth.
We didn't ask you for her. We asked you if you'd let us
I will
see it.
fax it. I will fax it as soon as I get home.
When I get into it, he said, she said, I try to figure out what facts there are underlying something because, listen, I take this very seriously because what happens here today is very likely to have some influence on your relationship with your son, your relationship with your future mother-in-law, if y'all go through with this, your relationship with Christian. I mean, this all has far-reaching implications, and so I take this very seriously.
Yes, sir.
And when we've asked you about the stomach cancer, which I was very sorry to hear, you got really vague about it all. And even when I ask you now,
Right.
you said yes, no, and maybe to some very fundamental questions.
I
And
know.
you either have a really crummy oncologist or you don't pay attention
I
because
don't pay attention.
I've never talked to anyone
I don't pay
that
attention.
had a life-threatening disease that didn't have at least some idea. I said, is it metastasized? You said yes. I said, where? I don't know.
Well, I know I'm only operating on 25% of my liver, so I don't know what it's affected me
But it
on
was
that.
stomach cancer.
Correct.
Well, I hope that you're confused about this. I hope that you don't have those problems, and I hope it isn't metastasized. I asked you if it was peritoneal. You said yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I walk in, I get my shot, I walk out. I violently get sick, well, at least I used to. Violently start puking my guts up, hot and cold shakes.
All right, well, we're going to meet Christian here in just a second. He's going to come out and join us here. You're concerned that he's going to marry her, right? You don't want that
Yes.
to happen. And he had a fiance once that died. And so now
He
he's
didn't.
marrying her.
That's not funny.
No, he didn't.
Okay, well, we'll
they
talk
were not
about all that.
They were not engaged.
But you said they were. You told her they were.
Mm-hmm.
Did you tell her that he had a fiance that died?
I don't think I said fiance
You don't think you did? Oh, wow.
that died.
I don't know how you people get anything done. All right, next, Christian has been watching backstage, so we're going to let him weigh in on all of this. The man stuck in the middle of this battle between his fiance and his mom when we come back. She was in your yard pulling weeds and wouldn't stop?
Oh, God.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
And
she
if
came
she
over.
didn't stop, you were going to step on her hand?
At the beginning of our relationship, my mom mentioned several things that she wouldn't have known. In fact, Beth and I wondered if my mom had the place bugged.
We were looking for microphones like over by lamps, underneath the couch. It got to the point to where we were like, oh my God, why are we deathly afraid of this lady?
That was Christian and Beth who say that Carol's constant prying even led them to believe that their house was actually being bugged. Now, Christian, he's here. He's been watching his mom and his fiance from backstage, and he's now going to join our conversation. So, Christian, come on out if you dare. There he is. How you doing, man?
Oh, pretty good.
to see
How are
Have
you
a seat.
doing?
Good. Good.
Well, I have been walking backstage, and it looks like it's a little brutal out here.
Yeah, I guess so. What do you have to say about everything you've been watching so far? What's your reaction?
Some of the things that you have said, you did say about the dead fiance. Talked about it right after it happened, and you did say that, and you know that that's not true. I have to say that straight off the bat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the
engaged.
truth here? What did she say? Did she say that you had a fiance that died?
Well, I had talked to Beth. It was kind of like, she goes, you weren't straight forward with me, were you? I said, well, what do you mean? She goes, about your dead fiance. I said, I never had a dead fiance at all.
I never said fiance.
Yes, you did.
What? Okay.
Okay.
And what does that have to do with this?
Well, I think it has a lot
Well,
to do
if
with
that's
it.
the basis for this conversation, we're done. I mean, come on. Wait a minute. First off, let me just work backwards. Were you engaged to someone before Beth?
No, never.
Okay. And this person you weren't engaged to, did they die?
They did pass away, yes.
Okay, so it was somebody that you knew who died, but you weren't engaged to them.
That is correct.
Was
They were
this-
just a friend.
Was this your girlfriend? Did y'all
No.
have a romantic involvement?
No, didn't have
So you
any-
weren't girlfriend, but not engaged. You were just friends.
That's
Just somebody
co-
you knew
That's correct.
died.
You said you loved her.
No, I never said that.
They didn't even go
You
out
did
on one
too.
date.
No, I didn't. Oh, well, where do you come up with this stuff?
Did you think that a love in his life died?
Yes. You said you would marry her.
No,
Oh, my God.
You didn't say that?
I did not say that.
So you weren't in love with this girl?
No, she was a good friend of mine.
You believed that he was in love
Yes,
with her?
I did.
Did you like her?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
How?
Okay,
I
so
talked to her before.
you talked to her?
Well, he put me on the phone to talk to her.
But you think that was a better deal than this, even just
Oh,
on the
yes.
phone? Did you tell us that she was in your yard pulling weeds and wouldn't stop?
Oh, God.
Oh, yes, that's correct.
And
she
if
came
she
over.
didn't stop, you were going to step on her hands?
Yes.
I don't make this stuff up. I'm telling
Yes,
you.
okay.
This is your mother. You threatened to call the police and have her escorted off your property, and you said you were going to stomp on her hands?
Oh, okay. I have to mention something. She was pulling weeds. I had asked her to stop. Not once, twice, 3, 4, 5.
Probably 17 to 20.
Probably a good 20 times. And out of frustration, not that I actually would have done it, but I did say, if you don't stop pulling weeds, I will
Why
step
were
on
you
your
pulling
hand.
weeds in your son's yard?
I always did the yard work because he doesn't do yard work and she certainly don't.
Oh, I do all the...
Doesn't.
I do want
I said you can come over to my
has a
house and
garden
work in the yard.
No, she
I
has a garden.
wouldn't
she
mind it at
mows,
all.
So you were over there pulling their weeds.
Yeah, wasn't that bad?
Well, I think maybe they thought that was like, go home.
Yeah.
That you shouldn't be over here
Yeah.
pulling our weeds. These are our weeds. We'll pull them.
And I did leave.
You've always had a good relationship with your mom, right?
Yes, it's just since I've been in a relationship with Beth over here.
Exactly.
Have you dated other girls?
Oh, I have dated other girls.
Have you
Those
been
relation-
serious with other girls?
Not as serious as I am with
But
Beth.
you've had some ongoing relationships.
I have dated. They just usually haven't lasted that long.
Because sometimes the truth is, you can kind of get some psycho moms. I'm not saying you are any more than I'm saying that you're everything she says you are. But you can sometimes get psycho moms that no matter who their son brings up, they're not good enough for him, and they freak out on every one of them. Has she done that? Is that who she is?
I actually don't really bring up many of my relationships up with my mom because I don't feel as though that it's her choice to be making for me. I feel that I should make my own choice because when I'm with somebody, isn't that going to be my life?
Correct.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. Did she call Beth a hooker?
Yes.
Did she say you deserved a Playboy bunny?
Yes, she did.
And-
I
I
was
did
there-
not say that.
Yes,
I just
yes.
thought that that would be the type you would like.
You said that I should.
Okay, now, but did she call you a hooker?
Pretty much. Not verbatim, but yeah. Yeah.
Do you
no.
think she is immoral? Do you think she's not just a good person, not just in terms of her, what you have on your sheet there, but just in terms of her basic values, beliefs,
Yes.
and moral compass?
You have no clue what
You
my
think
morals,
she's
my
bad
values,
egg?
and ethics and principles
As
are.
eggs go, she's a bad.
Yes, I do.
Okay, and let me ask you something. Is it possible that despite her methodology, that she's right?
I don't think so.
That she has legitimate concerns?
I will give her that she does have legitimate concerns, but I know we share everything. We're very well connected. We can talk about anything. And it just seems like, I mean, Beth seems like somebody that I would like to spend.
Okay, well, then I got some questions to you as a couple. Now, Carol has made it very clear that she thinks this engagement is a, quote, stupid decision. We're going to find out what she plans to do if these two actually go forward with their wedding, and I've got some questions for them as a couple when we come back. Well, Beth and Christian say that Carol will stop at nothing to break them up, which may be the only thing that everybody here agrees with. Because I think you do want to break them up, right? You don't want him to marry her.
It's not just me, it's other people that think this is the wrong decision.
Yeah. Well, I don't know who these other people are, but it's less of their business than it is of yours, which is marginal to begin with. But how did you find out about the cancer issue?
I was over for dinner, and she said, "Oh, you'll be happy about this. I've got cancer." And that's how I found out.
This was after you had berated me. This was after you basically told me everything in my dinner was wrong. This was
I
after
did
you
not
called
say
me a
that.
hooker.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say it was wrong.
Yes, you did.
Okay, wait a minute, wait a minute.
not.
She has said that this is all wrong. She doesn't want you marrying her. She thinks you're nothing but a hooker.
Right.
And you have her over for dinner. Who do you not invite? Why
My
would you have
ex-husband's.
her for dinner?
Well, what
We
were-
didn't know
what-
that she
what-
was going to be this bad.
Yes, what we were trying to do was we were trying to foster a relationship
Correct.
between my mom because I already knew that my mom did not like Beth, and we thought maybe we could find something that was a common ground between both of them.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
And I'll ask you this for both because this affects both of you. Have you done any type of premarital counseling? Have you done any type of work to try and create some kind of basis or foundation for this relationship before you start?
I have actually looked into it because I want our relationship to work out, but there was one thing that kept me going to pre-counseling for marriage, and that was you. because you're really putting a damper on this relationship. I mean, I can't have this hate and contempt for Beth and go into a marriage like that.
She belittles him as well. So when she can't beat me up on the telephone, she done beats him up. And Christian gets to the point to where he doesn't even want to talk to you.
I don't even talk to you on the telephone. But you're in the background. When he tries to call me from his house, you're in the background yelling and coaching him what to say.
Hey, no, she doesn't coach me what to say.
Well, she's in the background yelling.
We'll be right back. You're wearing a wedding band on your wedding band finger, like this one.
Yes, I am.
You had a wedding date set, right?
Yes, we did.
But you canceled it
Yes.
because you were afraid she was going to make a scene?
Yep.
Well, that was one of the reasons, yes.
But you're not married yet?
No,
Because
not
you're
yet.
wearing a wedding band on your wedding band finger, like this one.
Yes, I am. This is an engagement.
And you've got a wedding band and an engagement ring.
Correct.
Are y'all married?
No.
No, we are not.
No, we're hoping to get the resolution, and as soon as we go back, we'll get married.
Okay, so I'm real good about getting questions answered.
Okay.
I said, have you done any premarital counseling? And you gave a speech, but I think the answer is no.
No, that is correct.
Okay, you've planned it, you've thought about it, but somehow or another she figured into this, but you haven't done that. And let me tell you some things that you both need to know. The risk of divorce for second marriages is higher than first marriages. The risk of divorce with third marriages is higher than first and second marriages. The risk of fourth marriages ending in divorce is even higher, and the fifth marriage ending in divorce is just pinging against the end of the range. And you think you're the exception because you've got reasons that these first two, and then the third one, with this one, and then that one. There's always a story, and you'll be a story too. It'll be your crazy mother which sabotaged this. There'll be some reason, there'll be some story. But I can tell you, if you go into this marriage without doing serious premarital counseling, then the chance of this working is practically nil. And if you do the work necessary to do it, you will do nothing but improve those chances dramatically. You aren't ready to get married. You aren't even ready to get married. And the things that she's raising, I think she's doing it in a really intrusive, not paying attention to boundaries way. But she is raising some legitimate concerns. And you don't know about him. I mean, you could be marrying a real mama's boy here.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I didn't say you would. I'm just telling you, you need to know. You didn't have a problem with the first four. We've already agreed you ain't much on picking them.
Now, mind you, I was married at the age of 15 to 19 to my first one, my second one 19 to 23. I was extremely young.
Yeah, there's always a reason. There's always a reason. And the very fact that she excuses all these, oh, well, this one was that, and this one was that, and this one was that, that in and of itself should give you huge concern. Because you're kind of giving it the back of the hand, just is irresponsible. You need to do a serious autopsy on every one of those dead relationships and figure out what you did to contribute to their demise, figure out what you did to make an error in choosing, what you did to make an error in the relationship so you don't do the same thing in this one.
Absolutely.
And you're marrying somebody that does not have a good marriage track record.
And I asked you why you thought the fifth one
I thought I was
work.
doing pretty good without you butting in. Because you don't lend to my credibility here, because you kind of come across as a little, I like her. I do, but I mean, all right, we're going to find out what Carol and Beth's ultimatums are for Christian. Carol flat out told her son Christian that this marriage would not work and has even decided to boycott attending their wedding, which I'm sure thrills you because you guys have canceled it for fear that she would show up and make a scene.
Right.
Okay, and do y'all plan to have children?
No,
No.
No.
no, absolutely not.
are
I
you-
don't want the crazy gene to be passed on.
Are you going to do what I'm telling you to do and do the counsel
definitely
that
do
I'm
the
telling you to
counseling.
do?
Yes, that's why I'm here on the show.
Okay, because you really are willing to do that.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, now, your ultimatum for Christian is what? What have you told him?
I have virtually told him that if I have to continue to put up with her, I won't. If she keeps on butting in, I'm out. I won't marry him. You know, there has to be some kind of resolution. But I won't marry him if I have to continually put up
I don't
with her
even come
lies.
around.
Yes,
Okay.
but what about...
I
what-
leave you both alone.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
but-
your ultimatum is what?
Well, I don't think you should get married.
Have you told him if he gets married, you won't have anything to do with him and her?
No.
She told me that basically if I got married to Beth, that she would write me out of the will.
And you would do that to protect, you wouldn't want her to get her hands on
That's correct.
whatever inheritance
Right.
you might pass
And
on
I
to him.
had, when I felt like you really wanted me there, I had said I would come to the wedding.
And you'll sit there respectfully and mind your own business?
Yes.
And then you'll leave?
Right.
You're not
See,
gonna
this is the...
When they
this
come to that
is-
part where they said, anybody has objections, speak now, forever hold your peace.
I would not.
You're not going to stand up and
No,
go,
no. I wouldn't say that.
then you won't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
All right, now, all right. Let me tell you that I will personally arrange for y'all to have some premarital counsel. If he's going to trip and fall here, you know, your goal needs to be that he understand your concerns, not that he agree with them. It isn't your choice, it isn't your decision, and he wouldn't be much of a man if he let his mother decide these things.
I understand that.
Okay, so you would be cutting his legs out from under him. So your goal needs to be, Christian, I want you to understand my concerns.
Right.
And once you have heard me and you understand those, then you'll have to make your own decision and live with the consequences. And that should be your goal. And I think he fully understands where you stand. So I think you've achieved that. What you need to do now is step back, and if in fact you're right, and this caves in and falls apart, then you be there to support him afterwards.
Right. I understand if he got married that I would be on the back burner, but I would like to see him once in a while.
Well, certainly, and I
Right.
think and let me assure you, if your goal is to drive a wedge between them,
Never.
and to separate them, that will come back to
Never.
bite you like you won't believe.
I ask him
No,
to call
no.
all the time.
She does.
I
Beth
do.
does ask
I'm
me.
just saying. You say whatever you want, but I'm just telling you,
And
you
I
don't
don't
want to
come
be.
around.
You don't want to be the one
No, sir.
that comes between them. And you need to drill down on some of these things. I hope you don't have stomach cancer.
I do.
I mean, I hope you don't. And if you do, then you're the most uninformed cancer patient I've ever met, and you need to get informed. We have to stop for now. We'll see what happens here. We'll be right back. I want to thank all of my guests today. Thanks for being here so long.